All right, let's try something a little different today. Instead of me just giving you all the answers, I've got a puzzle, a medical mystery. We've got a handful of clues that seem totally unrelated, but our job, together, is to figure out the one single condition that connects them all. So, you ready to play detective? Let's get into it.
So here is the central question, and it's a real head-scratcher. I mean, think about it. Bones, skin, and hormones. On the surface, they're in completely different worlds inside our bodies. But there is one syndrome that links all three. Our mission is to figure out what it is, so let's start gathering the evidence.
Okay, so our investigation is going to start deep inside the body. We're talking about the very framework that holds us all together, our bones. So what in the world is going on with the skeleton in this mystery condition?
Yeah, that's a mouthful, I know. Let's break that down. Polyostotic is just a fancy way of saying it affects multiple bones. Poly means many, ostotic is for bone. Simple enough. But fibrous dysplasia? That's where it gets really weird. It means normal, healthy bone tissue is getting replaced by this abnormal, fibrous, almost scar-like tissue. And you can probably guess what that does. It makes the bones a lot weaker and much more likely to fracture. So, keep that filed away. Our first clue is a widespread, scar-forming bone disease.
Okay, so that's what's happening on the inside, but our next clue isn't hidden away at all. Nope, it's something you can see right on the surface, on the skin, which tells you this thing has effects all over the body. The second major sign here is something called café au lait spots. The name is French for coffee with milk, and it's a pretty good description. They're these distinct patches of skin that are darker than the surrounding area. Now, it's important to know these aren't just random birthmarks. They are a very specific clinical sign. So now our mystery patient has this strange bone issue and these very characteristic skin markings.
All right, we've got bones, we've got skin. For a third and final big clue, we have to look at the body's super complex chemical messaging system, the endocrine system. And this is where things get even more complicated, because this is what connects the internal bone problems and the external skin signs to how the body is functioning on a chemical level.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just a condition affecting structures like bone and skin. It actively disrupts the body's hormones. One of the most classic examples is something called precocious puberty. That's puberty that begins way, way too early. And it's especially common in girls with this condition. This hormonal mess is a massive piece of our puzzle.
So, now we've got our three main clues. But wait, before we review the whole case file, there's one last piece of evidence to consider. It's a physical trait that you don't see in every single case, but it's common enough that it's a really critical part of the puzzle for a lot of people.
In up to a quarter of all cases, this syndrome also leads to facial asymmetry. So because of those bone issues we talked about right at the start, one side of the face can actually develop differently than the other. Think about that. For 1 out of every 4 patients, you can actually see the condition's effects just by looking at their face. Okay, let's lay it all out. Time to review the official case file. We are looking for one single diagnosis that explains all of this. Polyostotic fibrous dysplasia, those café au lait spots, a major endocrine problem like precocious puberty, and, in a good number of cases, facial asymmetry. That's the complete clinical picture.
All right, detectives, you have seen all the evidence. You followed the trail from the skeleton to the skin and deep into the hormone system. The case file is now complete. It's over to you.
So, what is it? What's the one diagnosis that connects all of these dots? I want you to drop your answer down in the comments below. And hey, don't just give me the name, tell me why. Explain your reasoning. Which clue was the one that made it all click for you? I honestly can't wait to see how many of you crack the case.